morning, YouTube. I'm Zachary Fowler. I thought we'd do something a little bit different. Do a live stream tour of the house. There it is, the old mansion outside, obviously. It is snowy and burritos out here, as Abby says. And I got my there's my barn, and the sunroom, and the rest of the house there. Big old place. Woke up this morning, pipes were frozen, and I was like, oh man, craziness going on here. I'm trying to keep this big old place nice and warm. We'll head inside, we'll do a house tour, and then do a Q&A. So, into the sunroom, which is so awesome, having a little sunroom space. And I got the reed boat in here, brought that in. I didn't want to put it right into the barn after I took it out the other day because I was worried that ice that was in the reeds or something would expand and blow it apart or something like that. I want it to last as long as possible, so I thought I'd dry it out here in the sunroom with the rest of the firewood that's in here drying out. It's a beautiful little patio area in the sunroom. But like everything in this house, we bought it, it's all half done. There's like pallet panels on the ceiling that he never finished up. So I got a lot of work to do with this place at some point. And there's this cool little seating area that we really like. During the summertime, instead of there being firewood, we put cushions here. So you can, see if I can get the right angle. So it's like this cool little seating nook. And yeah, so let's head inside. Whoa! Almost fell off. And heading the rest of the way. So it's been, oh, I don't know, 7 months since we bought the place. Here's my kitchen. Look at this cool table. I forgot what the name of this wood is. It's not one I normally use, but it was cut down from across the street, and it's really cool stuff. So like there's a couple things in the house that are built out of this wood, and it's this big giant slabs of wood from a tree that was cut down across the street. And the owner before went and had it milled and turned into materials, and so I got over here, I got another piece of it. And I got a whole bunch more in the barn, so I could I'm gonna build a coffee table, and I wanna build some like workbenches in my workshop. And this is my slingshot range in my kitchen here. I'll be showing you that soon in like regular video detail. I didn't manage to get a video out this week. It's just been chaotic getting back in the swing of things after vacation and stuff. Interviews with some people and talking with publishers about working on a book. And I did a bunch of filming and things, so I got some cool videos coming. And but you'll have to wait till this week. Should be able to be back business as normal this week. Next Sunday will be a video of the shelter all finished up there at the land and spending a night out there and cooking something in it or something like that. So that should be cool. And a slingshot video, and hopefully a slingshot lesson this week or next week, and the tactical diaper bag. So all of that I'm trying to get into like the next week and a half of videos. But this is my indoor shooting range. So right here I have this corridor of space that I can go and shoot from here. And this gives me right here to my shooting range back there. There's a big curtain with a cloth and stuff. I can shoot there, and it gives me 33 feet to practice. So I get good at that distance for knocking down the cans and beating that Guinness World Record. And I got my living room that I'll be shooting from my living room. I got this big crazy wood stove with this giant cement contraption the owner built before me. And here's our living room. I just redid it. So there's like this, it's just big open space. It used to be centered with the couch in front of the TV. So there was like the couch across the front, but it was like, that's not the center of our lives. So I made it so that there is a big open space here for the kids to throw pillows down and tumble around on the carpet, and they love it. So that's one. And I just put this like this, so I have my little seating area, and I'm rigging up some lights right here, and I'll be able to sit here and whittle and do some whittling videos, so I don't always have to be, that way I can produce more videos without having to put huge amount more effort in. So I can bring you guys some whittling stuff, I can relax a little bit in the evening and still accomplish a video a little more often and stuff, and put together a whittling video like how to make a slingshot or how to whittle an animal or stuff like I did out on a loan. And be able to sit right there by the fire. There's the other fireplace. I got 2 fireplaces in here going all the time right now. I got 5 cords at the beginning of the year, and I've already burnt through like this ridiculous amount of them. So we got our little Christmas tree is still up. I love Christmas, so it'll be a while before I actually take that down once it starts to get really wilty. It's kind of a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. I don't know if you can see it. The light kind of blares it out, but it came from the backyard. It was growing in a weird spot that I wanted to be able to mow through, so I took it down. I got my my workout station over here. I got this is my, when I answer you guys' replies and stuff on the comments, this is where I sit right here. This is what I'm doing. I don't just sit around and reply to your comments. I got my laptop, my second older Mac here, and I pedal and answer emails. And I'm going to be sitting there writing my book, because I write my book sitting there pedaling away. And we got the treadmill, so I could do a little bit of running, try to do a bit of running every day. And the family dining table here. So now that Jamie's gone, I have been sprucing the place up, kind of manifying it, since she's not coming back. So I've been rigging all kinds of neat stuff up in the house. You know, that's why there's a shooting range. That's why I'm able to have skateboards on the walls, and shooting range and slingshot decorating, you know, going on. Samurai swords in my kitchen, and blowguns on the walls. And then I've rigged up this cool new thing. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you can see it. I built this trap that allows me, I call it the ammo cam. So it allows me to add some dynamic aspect to the new slingshot videos I'm working on. So I'm going to be trying to light a match, or I will be lighting a match with my slingshot at 33 feet. And so this will, for the intros, you know how like on that hitting the bottles, when I was shooting the bottles for the playing Merry Christmas by shooting the bottles, and there's that zoom down like it was the ammo and then it drew back. This will do that same thing with the camera, allow me indoors to make it look like the ammo flies down range, almost shoots it, pulls back, and then I introduce the video and stuff. So I've rigged up lights all across the ceiling so that I can actually be able to shoot videos and shoot stuff at the slingshot range and see as well, and light in here so it's not too dark. And this is my slingshot collection. This is my pride and joy right here, all this stuff. These cool, my fun stuff. New one I just made the other day. It's a double-barreled slingshot. Kind of crazy, right? And where's my other really... Oh, this is the new one that you guys saw me. I haven't even rigged it yet. I've just been coating it all week to get it just the way I want it before I rig it. Now I think it's ready. Now it's dried. I'll rig that up and make it a little bit of a... Go back and start over and make a video on how I made that, since everybody was like, yeah, make a video. Which, of course, I figured you'd say that. And, of course, these windows here let in a lot of light, but if you see, I had to put metal screen on them. There's already a crack in one of the windows here. You can't see it, but slingshot, you know. Let's see, what else I show you? So, my little workshop, I got a new workshop. I don't know if I can actually show you this or not. I just started putting together this week, working on designing my custom slingshot. It's not much, just a little room for the bandsaw for now. I'm going to put in some lights up, and I'm going to put, I got a spindle sander and stuff, so I'm going to be building my custom slingshot in here someday so that I can market it and share it with you guys. And this room is a pain in the neck. This is where the hot water heater is. Pipes were frozen this morning when I woke up, so I got a fan going, pushing air into here, and it still managed to freeze. From underneath, we've been putting bales of hay. We built a wall of bales of hay between here and the barn, where there's a foam wall that the previous owner built. I got water running in the sink here going, just continually drizzling, because it's like, you got to keep the water going. I got plastic on all the windows. I filmed some stuff for a vlog about how I've been winterizing the place, and I've spent thousands of dollars like working on like insulating more and doing all this stuff. Whether I share that or not, I don't know. And so that's that. Oh, and this is Fern. If you guys haven't met Fern, Fern is the coolest little dog. Hey, Fern. Say hi. Hi. She's a good little. She's a long-haired Chihuahua, and she is the cutest, aren't you? But you're like a cat. She's like a cat. She just sleeps and lays around all day long, don't you? Sleeps and lays around all day long, and doesn't really do much. And so I'll head upstairs. So this is my, I'll get the right angle. I hope this isn't too disorienting for you guys. So there's my stairway, my hallway, and let get it to focus. There's the kids' junk in the hallway. They have to clean up after they make a big mess in the living room, and they have to bring all of their toys and bring them in here. And I got the little Harry Potter cover for them. If you've seen the vlog, this is their little fort in there for them that they go in there, little stars on the walls and stuff underneath the stairs. That's where I send them if they're bad. No, just kidding. There's no lock on it or anything. They go in there and they got little stars and flashlights and little glow sticks and different things that LED things with filaments to play with in there and be silly, and they have fun with that. This is where some of the house starts to get messy. Man, the drop ceiling up here that's like half torn away and things. There's a lot of work to do to this place. My bedroom's in there. I'm not showing you that. That's been a disaster since Jamie left. And some old Indian blanket type thing I got, wall decoration. The kids' room, that looks like a bomb blew up in there. I swear, I cleaned that just like the other day. You know, I don't even want to go in there right now. It's unbelievable the amount of mess. Now we're getting to the business end of the house. This is my packaging and shipping center in here, which is always a mess of boxes and things. It's also partially the storage for the house and the things I haven't finished to unpack yet. I want it to be when it's all said and done. Got one bookshelf already that I picked up at the garage sale this year. I want to fill this with like books and shipping center. So this will be like from the website. All the website stuff is just in boxes right now. I want to finish like decking this out with shelves and stuff in here, and then that's the printer and prints up our new labels for the shipping on the packages with the Fowler's, Makery, and Mischief, P.O. Box, blah blah blah, and then people's address, and right here where we can package it all. And we got our boxes full of goodies here. If you guys haven't seen the stuff on the website, we got the slingshots. And I just got the new sear strips in. That if you saw me jumping in the lake, in the frozen water there, these things, fire starters. These are on the website now. They work as, I used them last night to lubricate Sparrow's zipper on her boots. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, go on there and I put little videos, shorter videos on there sometimes. Stuff that's not as polished as I want to put on YouTube. I just got these the other day in the mail. Lucid sent me these cut up pieces of skis. They're like, oh, what'd they send you a bunch of broken skis for? But I asked for them because I met the guy before and they're a great ski company. And he had some junkers and we were talking about it. And I was like, I'd love to try and make some slingshots. So that's going to be coming along. Some slingshots made out of these laminated cut up ski parts. You got this beautiful grain. It's all made from like beautiful Maine woods. And so I'm going to use them as if they were like laminated plywood to make a really cool looking slingshot out of it, hopefully. I don't see why it wouldn't work. And then we come through into officially the office and filming studio. Got my pull-up bar there. I do 100 of those a day. Maybe like 30. But and then so you always see my studio from like this aspect over here, right? So you got like either my workbench here, and it showed me making stuff. There's my latest video I've been working on. I wasn't able to get it done, and so you see this angle here. Stop wiggling so much. You see this angle with the workbench and my stuff in my background. But now you can see the other side of it. So on the other side, I'm going to turn the lights on, get it to look better. On the other side, I have my prompt board to tell me things I need to remember, like the names of companies while I'm filming. I have my lighting that helps produce a lot more light that comes in onto where I'm trying to film. And I got another one over there. And then I just rigged this up yesterday because when I did the match video, hope this isn't wiggling too much for you guys, sorry. When I did the match video, I had another camera right here, and it worked out so awesome to have them both filming at the same time. I could do the cutaway to the close-up by holding stuff up to this camera on the side. And I thought even better, after seeing Casey Neistat, he had one on his ceiling. So last night I rigged up this, I'm supposed to be filming a video, and I'm like, oh, I got a better idea. I rigged up this cool little, where my Canon point and shoot here. So I got the little lens here, and then I got the selfie stick here, so I can raise and lower this right here, up and down. For the most part, it can stay right up here, out of the shot of the big camera, as I'm filming me making stuff here. And this one, I can zoom it so it zooms down in and gets a close-up. So when I talk about an item, you know, I was talking about the WAZOO survival bracelet, and I hold that out here, this camera picks it up, and I can, in the edit, I get a quick cutaway to the nicer close-up so you can see it in full detail. As well as, well, this is what I was working on the other day. I'll show you guys that right now. This is the new video. It should be out by tomorrow morning. I was hoping to have it out today. I really wanted to, but I had a problem with it. This is a slingshot bracelet. So I have this WAZOO survival bracelet, and I thought, wow, what about a whole slingshot in a bracelet? Now they have slingshot band in here, but it's expensive. You don't want to rip your whole $80 bracelet apart just to make a slingshot when you're out camping. So I wanted to make one that comes apart really easily, has a full slingshot in it. You know, it's got the pouch on the outside, the cool warrior pouch that I sell on my website. Inside has the cold weather slingshot bands, and the paracord is Titan paracord with those three extra strands of fishing line, and it's 10 feet. So there's fishing line in here, hemp line for fire starting or whatever else you see fit, and wire in here. So now I've made my own design of like survival slingshot bracelet. So it's going to be called Slingshot Paracord Bracelet. So that video will be out tomorrow. And what else we got? So a lot of these, I got these big shelves in here in my office with the giant catch-alls, all my audiobooks that I've listened to over the years. Total Star Wars nerd. I was going to try to do books with you guys this morning and talk about books. I've been getting into my books and getting them all out and stuff. And I think we'll do that another time. You know, I got tons and tons of books, and these are the books that I learned from to have the ability to do what I did when I went out on alone. So we'll get into that in another next week or the week after or something like that. I'll set up the desk and really just get out a big pile of books and all my favorites and go over them and stuff. I got so many books. There's so many books that are in my bedroom, just stacks and stacks of books that I've collected over the years from garage sales, and that's where I learned the majority of my knowledge from was books. And I'm always so busy doing stuff. I got this beautiful display case that's supposed to be displaying all my alone stuff, and it's just kind of a catch-all like everything else. I can't wait to get this all done up, my whole office and everything. It's just always been on the run, always under the gun of late. You know, trying to make hay while the hay is before the rain comes. See, I'll change it here and we'll sit up to the desk now. Excuse the jiggery camera network. So, there we go. Alright, so we're back up to the desk. If you guys have any questions for me, I haven't been able to read them as we've been going along, doing the house tour. I hope that came out okay and doesn't look too ridiculous with the all over the place. Sorry, it's just a live stream today and not a video. Next week I will be doing the shelter for the 87 Days series. Finished the shelter in the shelter, cooking and doing some fire in the shelter. And I'll have Monday, we'll put out the paracord survival slingshot bracelet. That was a lot of work. I most of the time I've never like truly am frustrated by something when I'm building it. You know, I mean, like, I'm saying frustrated like I was frustrated, but like when I imagine something and then I make it, it almost always comes out like that. Sure, there's things that you learn as you go along, but the paracord bracelet, I imagined it and then I tried to put it together, and it's like I had to do it like 6, 7, 8 times. It's like that was it was the process was frustrated by my imagination trying to make these things come to life, and but I think it worked out pretty good. And I think the next time I put it together it'd be even better, and I'm trying to decide on whether I want to start putting them into production so that they'd be like on the website, you know, like paracord bracelet, boom, you take it, you turn it into a slingshot, and you're good to go. So that was fun making that. That was different. And so what's the most philosophical challenge aspect of being alone in the wilderness for so long? Just missing people and interaction and your family and stuff. You know, that was extremely hard. You know, put a double question mark if you have a question, and keep them short. Try to keep them 2 lines if you can. Just being alone is the hardest thing of being alone. You know, it was surprisingly easy to not have huge amounts of food. I was pretty hefty though, and I had almost a fish a day up until the last 14 days, where I was just 3 fish and like 5 fish heads the whole time, and fish head soup every day. So I never really went to bed hungry, except for like maybe 3 nights that I went to bed when the fish head soup was so weak, and the next day I caught a fish again during that last 14 days, which was the worst time. I mean, it would have been easier to be 14 days on 3 fish at the beginning, I think, you know. Will you make a video on how to make a happy rock? Yes, there will be definitely a video on happy rocks and all the different things you could do with them. There's so much stuff you could do with the happy rocks. I had happy rocks in my pockets out on a loan because you go down, and that middle month was frozen all day long. I go down to check my fissuation, and you get down there and you bait 2 hooks. You know, I had 24 hooks, always baited, always catching fish for me. So that way I was able to catch that 63 fish, which was like 3 to 4 times as many as everybody else. And which I had to catch fish because I didn't bring a ration. So I had happy rocks in my pockets so I could reach my hands in there. I had smaller happy rocks in my mittens, so I'd bait 3 hooks, put them in my hands in my pockets, warm them up, bait 3 more hooks, put my hands, and use the happy rocks. Jamie, I brought her a bunch of rocks back, and we would put them on the wood stove and they warm up. And this is a great idea for you guys. You put a happy rock in your boots and it dry your boot out. You just got to make sure it's not too hot so you burn melt your inserts of your boots. Happy rocks are the best. You know, we would stick them in our mittens. You come home, your hands are wet, wool mittens, toss 2 happy rocks in there and hang the mittens up, and boom, they dry, you know, within like 30 minutes. So that you're not, you know, if you need to go back out, you're ready to go. Instead of the next day, nothing like the next day you grab your mittens, you didn't quite hang them up in the right spot, and you put your hand into them and it's like, oh, or your foot into your boot, and you're like, because you forgot to put it over there. But a happy rock in like 20 minutes, you know, it evaporates sometimes in 20 minutes, depending on how wet it is. If it's just like foot sweat, you know, 20 minutes, it makes a huge amount of difference. Did all the participants get paid? Just the winner gets paid. Everybody gets a stipend for your time while you're out there. You have to get on the show to find out what that is. Have you only seen survival video? Did not know. You live. Yep, I do live stream every Sunday morning. So if you guys tune in at 9 o'clock, I'll be doing a live stream before we'll be live releasing today's video. Except for I'm just recovering from vacation and been really busy this week. So talking to editors about the book and getting that going, and it's all in just preliminary stuff and getting permission for the book and the title and the way I want to do it exactly, and so it's coming along though. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited. The book is going to be as far as you know. I've already got like so much stuff written. Been writing for. If you guys check it out, sorry, I'm all over the place here. Backwoodsman magazine in next month, I think it is. We'll be running my articles that I've been writing about the 87 days and stuff out there on Alone. So I think the first one is the Duck Hunter. Yeah, I know the first. The first one is the Duck Hunter 3000 with all the drawings from my sketchbooks and pictures and details and the whole story in greater detail than even what I showed on the YouTube channel here. So Backwoodsman's going to be running my articles. I don't know if it's every issue is going to have them this year or not, but I think pretty close to every issue is going to be running more articles about my time on Alone and pictures and drawings and stuff that from my journals and sketches that I did and stuff. It's going to be cool. And those are going to be like the backbone of the book as it develops. So I'm going to put those with like 75% new content and put that all together, and it's going to be 25% story of my life leading up to the show, 25% of my story on the show, and then 50% like how to kind of like showing that my drawings and sketches of the traps and how they work and how I've modified it from what I found it in an old book and how I found it actually worked better this way or that way or versus or maybe even the Duck Hunter and then some how I dreamt out there of adding a sail to it, but the wind was always blowing in, so I never did it, and how I might like to do it some other time by adding a sail so it motored out with a sail, stuff like that. So I've heard 90 days is the max for being alone. Your thoughts? Yeah, I think so. I mean, 90 days is the max for. I think that we will see people break my record, possibly on the next season of Alone or the one after that or something like that. Because I think anybody that knows that that goes on Alone from now on is going to be like 87 days. I gotta get past that at least. So it's like you're always going to be easy to strive a little bit further, but as soon as you pass that mark, it's going to be harder to go further. So I wouldn't be surprised if, over the next 7 years of Alone on History Channel, we only see, the time, like, end up at maybe 112 days at the max, if that. And it might take 7 years before that. And only each time incrementally getting a little bit further. I think, who is it? Not Everyday Tactical, but one of these guys did a video during the show and talked about, like, three of this, 3 months. 3 months is like the limit, and I think there is a barrier there right at 87 days that just nobody's going to be able to pass. No, I don't know. But it'll be easy to push for beating the last person's record, but to continue to go on after that, I think it's going to be hard. It's painful at times, it's like mentally painful, you just sometimes when you're hungry, struggling against your mind, some of the others have told me that like they were like, you don't understand, we're so hungry. You're so hungry once you've lost all that body weight, and like my BMI was still pretty high, and I was like at a normal level at the end and feeling pretty healthy and stuff. Fish head soup every day, as often as I ate, and it's like, so I never really hit that food wall like as badly as some of the other people did that took them out of the game because they were already skinny going into it to start with. A happy rock is a rock that you heat up in the fire so it's warm, and you can put it in your boots to dry them out. You can put it in your mittens to warm up, put it in your pockets to warm your hands. You put them in your sleeping bag, like in a sock and stuff, and so that you can warm up your sleeping bag before you hop into it. You bury them in the ground. I did that every night out on Alone. Even though my shelter was warm enough, it's just something about that radiating warmth underneath your chest. Sometimes it's too hot. And I bury it in the ground like 6 inches down. It radiates warmth out, and it warms your core from up through the ground. And it'll actually stay warm all night long. A happy rock will. It'll warm the ground that much. I'm also I want to experiment with like a primitive ice fishing. If you heated up a happy rock, and you don't have an ice chipper, can you heat up happy rocks and get them to sink a hole through the ice so you could do ice fishing? I don't know if anybody knows. Leave it in the comments below. Ice fishing. Is there a way to open up the ice? Like, I don't know if Native Americans, they just fished in advance and they were prepared. I haven't Googled it yet, but I'm curious to find out. Did they did they like chip away at the ice with stone tools and stuff so that they could fish, or did they maybe find spring holes where it was already warm enough and then chip the ice there? It was thin, putting branches on the ice to build up the ground and then fish in the spots where the ice was thin, and that would be kind of dangerous though. What was the most fish you were able to catch in a day? I think I caught 4 fish in one day at one point, because it was always like that. It would be like 3 fish, and then 2, and then like 5 days of nothing, and all my lines stripped continually, and I was, and then it would be 1, and then it would be nothing, and then, it's like, and then I'd be out of fish for 1 day, and then, and then it would be, I'd catch a fish again, or 2 fish the next day. So, good morning. Why the Russian shovel? Why the Russian shovel? I had an axe on alone. I wanted something that was like a hatchet, and it paid off because the bamboo. I was able to chop down the bamboo, and I wanted to be able to dig. The digging, I think, is very important. Everybody overlooks that. In the end, I actually, because my spot was 45 degrees uphill, I was able to dig 150 steps to safely get up and down over the hill during the winter time, because that's what it was there. It didn't ever end up as snowy as I thought it would, so the steps made it a lot easier, because I went up and down that thing twice a day, and it's just that 150 steps and being able to do it without, trying to climb a slope, just so convenient. And every step I dug, I found like 6 or 7 grubs or worms. I put those in my little worm thing, go down, bait my hooks, have those 24 hooks baited, and there was 25 we were allotted. One I brought was a hack, was a sewing needle I had bent in the shape of the hook, and I used that to stitch up stuff like 3 or 4 times, since a sewing kit was a whole separate thing, and they said that was acceptable. Shovels, just so necessary. Digging my fire pit, digging the grubs and worms all the time, digging out roots. The others said, a couple of them said they had a hard time finding stuff to bait their lines, so they only put out 1 or 2 lines. I had 24 of them all the time, and they caught 14 fish or 30 fish, and I caught 63. So it was a very important part of my being able to catch all the fish that I did. And now that I've come home, I've learned so much more. Dave and he caught all of his by casting, and I didn't know how to cast well, and now I've learned a lot more about a lot of that stuff, because my fishing was like my fishing ability is my weakest strength of everything when I went out there. And then in the end, that became my most important thing that I had to do to survive. And so it was like, oh, that's kind of scary, because I'm really stink at fishing, I could tie a fly like nobody's business, but growing up I could never catch a fish to save my life. It was like, it was horrible. And so I go out there, and it's like there's nothing to trap, there's no tracks, there's nothing. All my traps and stuff, they don't really do anything. The birds are so tiny that when I do catch one in my bird trap, it's like it's a mouthful, and it was fun to eat because it tasted good, it tastes like chicken, but it's like fishing became like I had to learn how to fish, and now I've learned even better from all of the stuff I've learned. So how about a video on putting a saw edge on your shovel? I don't want a saw edge on my shovel. I don't think there's any point. That an edge of a shovel is too short. So there's really, if anything you're gonna do with that shovel is just gonna be better served by whacking away at it and cutting something like a hatchet. Everybody's been putting these saw edges on their shovels, and I had my multi-tool, which had that little short thing. So when I wanted to cut my bamboo for my doorway and cut the hole for my doorway, that stuff, it all worked great for that. So I didn't need the shovel. Oh, is there anything I missed from Patagonia? Yeah, all kinds of stuff. The bamboo. Oh my goodness, the bamboo and the trout, those pink trout. Smoke them for like 4 hours over the fire, and then just slow smoked, and they're just so juicy. And like not having salt in your life as a normal thing, except for the electrolytes and salt that I got out of fish head souping my thing, meant like my taste buds were just so so much better. Like I was like, I could just taste every nuance of flavor in this like unsalted, untreated fish that was just smoked, and it just melted in your mouth, every single one of them. And the fish eggs were just so delicious. It was unreal. The food was so good. I felt like I was eating at a 5-star restaurant every night, just sitting there in my shelter with a fire and my fish head soup. That was just, it was delicious. How many total fires did you make on a loan? I went 50 days without having to restart my fire, and then at the beginning I was only having to use my fire starter but I had the fire going the entire time I was there pretty much, outside of when it would go out. But so I had that 50 days I had it going, and I'd bank it, turn it, put it to sleep, and wake it up. Shout out Survival Kid TV. Yeah, man. Anybody that's got survival in their channel name, it's worth taking a look at, right? And thanks. You're welcome. I like being an inspiration. I mean, I love doing all this. This is like my dream, to like make what I want to make when I want to make it, and to like be able to inspire people and encourage others into having adventures. You know, before I did this, you know, it was like I lived out in the woods on the land, and I didn't have a huge amount of friends, but I love having friends over and like doing fun, adventurous stuff with them. You know, we'd go and like hunt wild plants and frogs with spears and cook. You know, these friends that were like city-ish friends, and they'd be like, they still talk about it to this day. You know, it's been 10 years, and they're like, this is Zach, and he's the guy that they talk about that more than they did their own stuff. I had frog legs with him up at his land, and we blew up stuffed animals, and I was a little more immature. I still like to blow up stuffed animals sometimes, but why has God abandoned us? I don't know that God has abandoned us, unless you watch too much TV, and then of course it's easy to think that. When are you going back? I don't know when I'll be going back on TV. You know, if everything keeps going so well as it has been with the YouTube, it'll almost be silly to go back on TV. It'd be like taking a pay cut. You know, it's like, so who knows? But if Alone says that they're having an All-Stars, I'm going. I'm not gonna let Dave and Ellen and the Ginger Brothers and the go out there without me. You know, and whoever's gonna be winning in the next season and stuff, when it's all put together, I got to go out there and either regain my title or hold the title, continue to hold the title. It'll be interesting to see though, because I mean those guys never quit, but at the same time they only ever went like 60 and 70 something days, so they've never. That's a lot. That last around day 73, that's when things got a lot harder. I still had a great time. It shows me on the show having one bad day, but then I still went through that last 14 days, and man, the weight of burden, of stress and things like that try to bear down on you during that last 14 days. It wasn't all rainbows and sunshine. Although there was, I just lied. There was one rainbow. It rained that whole time and it was miserable, but then one day I was down on the dock and a rainbow came out, and I was just kind of like, ugh, and like I felt like that rainbow was like, God's promise to me, like to Noah, that like, you know what, I'm gonna keep you going on, keep strengthening you, keep providing you with a fish just when you need it, and you'll make it, and I did. Do you own a firearm? I have a 32-20, and Walther PP-22, and I had a couple others and stuff, but when we were on the land before alone, we got rid of them, and when I got back, we've just been focusing on the house and things like that, and I haven't really, I don't know, I've been shooting the slingshot so much, I really don't care about guns. I always wanted to have another, I had an AR and I sold that, and I've always wanted to have another AR-15, and be prepared for the apocalypse and stuff, but I mean, I haven't bothered to. I love shooting my slingshot so much. It's just so much more fun than shooting a gun, even to me. I feels like, sometimes. I mean, some guns are pretty darn fun. But I have so much fun with that. I haven't really bothered to get one. I do like shooting skeet. I haven't hunted lately. I want to hunt with a sling bow, but everything it's illegal here in Maine. So maybe next year I'm gonna have to travel to do that. Style something. Dennis the Menace versus the wrist rocket. I don't like the wrist brace because I like everything to be in my back pocket. So a slingshot wise, with a big brace on it. I do shoot my my hammer from SimpleShot fairly often, because some days you go to shoot, just like when I used to play pool. I made more money playing pool than I did going to work, and so I had this problem of like missing like 2 days of work every other day. When I was building boats and I was first 21 and I moved to Maine. So I made more money like hustling pool and playing pool tournaments and breaking the 9-ball. But there's some days when you're playing something like that where you realize that, like, you know, this isn't your day. You're not on. This is not a betting day. And so so it's the same thing with a slingshot. When I'm on a not so good slingshot day and I'm like, I can't hit anything to save my life, something's off in your mind, too many mind, you're impatient, you're stressed out, and it's like this is supposed to be your relaxed time. That's when I get out my wrist braced hammer slingshot, which is super accurate, the most powerful. That's the one that can be turned into the sling bow with just a click, and it turns it into a sling bow. And I switch to that slingshot and just start nailing it and start nailing the target. And it's like, yeah, that's a cool slingshot. But it's not something you can carry in your back pocket, so I like to always have one in my pocket. Plans for another raft or upgrade. I got some upgrades going on to the boat. I'm gonna put some pegs in so my feet can go on it. I'll do a video, if maybe even take it out into the ocean again this winter and paddle around more. I want to get maybe a backrest and foot pegs, so my feet are just out of my heels are just touching the water. My feet stayed dry last time, even though they were in the water. The boots are good, and then I want to make it so there's a basket that can go on the deck of it, so I can put fishing gear in it and be able to go out, paddle out, and do a little bit of fishing with it and stuff. So, plans for another raft. So that'll just I'll keep working on that one and continuing to use that one in other adventures until it finally breaks down and stuff. No R2D2 mug. No, I had it already up here and the coffee was down there, so I got the Ted's Pizza mug. Best pizza on earth. If you're ever in Rutland, Vermont, stop by at Ted's Pizza right there. This is what I grew up on. My favorite pizza in the whole world. Every time I go home, I go there and get a pizza because it's awesome. I think they actually ship too. It's this like crazy little, used to be smoke-riddled place, and they've remodeled it. Every Friday night we go there with my family, pizza, and a pretty cool place. You got to go when you're home, go to the places that people know your name, right? What are you missing the most? We already talked about that. Miss the bamboo. Miss my shelter. Miss the whole adventure of just being able to build whatever I want to build, not having to edit. That was nice. It's like I could film all day long and film all that, but it's like it takes, I spend about 30 hours. If I make 3 videos, I spend about 30 hours a week editing, It's like I'm meaning to make a vlog called I Can't Keep Up with Casey Neistat, because he was making a vlog a day for a long time, and it's like I can't even imagine that. His schedule was like he ran for like 2 hours a day, and then he was in the office for like 8, and then he gets home, and from 9 o'clock until 3 in the morning was editing, and then got up and then released the video, after 2 hours of sleep, and then ran for 2 hours, and it was like, you're insane. You succeed on surviving show by foraging for food if that was a challenge. Yeah, I do go okay foraging for food. I know I'm not good with the names of stuff. So I said something like that on Alone, and people were like, oh, you didn't even know how to forage for food. It's not that I didn't know how to forage for food. There wasn't any food at my location to forage. So there was just the plantain leaves. That was the only thing, and like 2 or 3 berries at the beginning. It was a dark side of the moon at my site. So there wasn't anything to forage for. There was like sheep or something or other, little green leaves. I'm horrible with the names of them. That's the thing. I know them all from the books. I just I don't, I can't put names to things very well because of my dyslexia. Or at least that's my excuse. Have you ever struggled with addiction? Oh, sure. Yeah. When I was 21, I, woke up on the lawn in front of the Sea Dog Brewing Company at Sunday morning, and people were taking pictures of me. I still had a cigarette hanging in my mouth, and I was first being 21, and like, it took me a little while to straighten myself out, just like any 21-year-old who finds how much fun it is to go out, and now I can't stand going out and doing that kind of stuff. Like, it's been years and years and years, because it's just, you go down. The thing was for me, it's like you spend a lot of time being drunk and stuff, and then you wake up in the morning and you never get anything done. You're worn out, you're tired, and you sit there and you hear these people that have been there for 10 years, and they're still talking about the Mustang, that Mustang that's in my backyard under the tarp. I lifted it up the other day and I changed out the starter. It's like, that's been there for 10 years. You're never getting that running because you're in here spending your paycheck, your entire paycheck. And so it's like, that's it. So yeah, it's like you got nothing going for you, and it's like, it really turned me off into the aspect of continuing that kind of lifestyle, as well as it's a burden on your soul just continuing the addiction. And for me, I turned to Jesus and just kept going. Oh, littles are hollering for me. Hold on a sec. What? Okay, I'll be right there. And that's my cue. My time is up with you guys. The littles, their tubby time is over apparently. Sparrow unplugged the tub. So I will, if you got some more questions for me, I've been so crazy busy. I don't know if these comments come through. If you had something that you felt was really, you wanted to get to me, leave it in the comments below. In the next 24 hours, I'll go in and answer any questions that have popped up in the next 24 hours. That's going to be my new policy. Is like, I can only go into a video and answer questions for 24 hours, and then they just continue to build. Probably not so much in these live streams, but the other videos are 200,000 views and stuff, and the channel is just quadrupled in the last couple of weeks. So it's going really well. Got some great videos coming for you. This week we'll be back into the action. It's taken some work to get everything here caught up, and just trying to winterize the place, and storms have been hitting, and being single dad and doing all this the way I am now it's been a new thing. So we will be business as usual. Come Monday will be the paracord, not this one, but paracord slingshot bracelet, and then I don't know what else will be out this week, and then the shelter next week. 87 days will be back strong with the winter, staying in the winter shelter, lots of snow on it. It'll be fun. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Fowler out.